Okay, so I think it might be time to talk about a little something. But let's make sure the stream is going first, and then we'll move forward from there. Here we go. Move forward from there. Okay, you can hear me okay. I keep seeing all of this hate, in the Linux space towards people who have different opinions on things. Getting kind of old. No, I tend to see it from the extreme far left for the most part, and I don't really know why. Right? Like, it's okay if people have different views than you do. Like, I don't get it. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. We need store and then get a file. I mean, like, when you just think about it, it's like, why? I don't get it, right? I'm a trans woman, but I'm not going out there and hurting people's feelings. I'm not going out there and attacking other people. I mean, why would you do that? Like, I just don't get it. And I don't think I will ever get it, to be honest. I mean, I was watching One Duke today, and I saw that people were their Bazaar app, right? They did everything, they all the theming based on the Pride community stuff. I'm all about Pride, obviously, but at the same time, I'm not going to force my beliefs on somebody else, not my place or my right. I mean, I make jokes about how I like the rainbow because I do like the rainbow. Dad yesterday, I think yesterday at this point, but yesterday, like, oh, you should get rainbow shoes. And then I was like, yeah, I absolutely should get rainbow shoes. Sounds awesome. It does to me, right? But I'm also saying that out of love and respect, not out of, oh, let's go attack somebody. Using our own beliefs as a weapon is wrong, really messed up, and it makes us look bad. Stop it. I'm getting sick and tired of seeing this, right? Like, I don't know how else to put it. We're right now, we're just waiting on this to finish up. I mean, another great example. I see all of these people that are like, oh, you shouldn't use AI whenever you're doing development. Well, you can shut up about that because you should be in the year 2025 because the entire industry is doing that. So if you aren't, you're just going to get left behind. How that works. So, like, fight me. Um, I develop AcreetionOS, which I'm running right now. Dad and I both run it, and I love it. It's very, very good for what we've done. Um, we have a website. I mean, I built the website, so let me open it up. We can go to it real quick, like that. I mean, not anything like super, super, super complicated, but yeah, I mean, we show that we're okay with AI tools. That's fine. We take AI commits as long as you do it respectfully. You're not committing bullshit. Um, I made this a while back. If you want to have the option to find it yourself, I mean, that's fine too. Like if you type SSH, it's going to pull in the Gen2 documentation. It's going to give you options like this to let you go through DuckDuckGo and do a search, right? Like, but there is the old school method to find information. I made a flashing utility so that people can have an easy way of building a USB drive with it. We've even got a couple of mirrors that are hosting us now. We have for a while, so I don't understand though why people keep attacking others because of their beliefs. I do not get that. That blows my mind that people do that. I don't get it. Like, why would you do that? It doesn't make sense. Um, but yeah, I enjoy doing this. Right now, again, we're just waiting right now. But once it's done, I will go ahead and show you what this application I'm building right now is. Since I said I'm all about AI-driven development, that's fine. What I'm also looking at is building applications to interact with AI. So I I had to do this in a specific way so we wouldn't be breaking any laws or anything else. So this application is a GTK3 front end to the Gemini API. And what that does is it makes it where you and me can talk to Gemini via K3 application. It's written in C and GTK3. Um, so the big thing with this application is on first prompt is going to make you get your own API key. I'm not giving you a general API key. I'm not going to rack up that bill myself. I don't want that. Um, but what it does do is it will send you to the direct address within your browser to get an API key, and you can go from there with your own bills, whatever you want to do. But the Gemini API does give you a pretty good amount for free, so excuse me. Um, so you should be able to use that just fine. I don't know if I'm going to add Claude support to this. I know Dad enjoys using Claude, but the reality is that all of the stuff Dad's doing, he is doing through VS Code anyways. I mean, as you can see right now, this VS Code instance has the ability to have AI clients. So something else you can also do if you're just coding, um, you got to think of the name. What it is? Um, I got to find it. What is the name of it? I don't believe this is it. I just can't remember it right now. No, we don't want the Firebase Studio. John showed it to me the other day. I installed it and I really liked it. I just can't think of what it's called. VS Code alternative. Um, there we go. Anti-gravity. That's what it is. We go to this website. Think like VS Code, but from Google's perspective. Instead of having ChatGPT integration, it's all Gemini based. And then there is some support for the other ones, but actually limited in compared to what VS Code can do. And here's why. From what I've been able to see so far, I've only had a couple of days with it of experience so far. So if you go down here, right, it lets you go ahead and choose different models. A lot of these are put in from other places by the managed models, right? Whenever I looked at anti-gravity, the way the windows lined up is it's in the center, and there's only 5 models. There's 2 from OpenAI, 2 from Google, and there's one I think I was Claude. Um, but there's no custom option. So are you going to be using a llama? Probably not, unless you go and install extensions. It has support for all of the VS Code extensions, so you don't have to worry about that. You'd have to use something like Continue. It's not built into the basic UI. That's a little weird. It is very new, so we can't really hold that against it per se, but yeah, it is what it is. But it is pretty cool. I mean, if you're looking for a great alternative, anti-gravity's there. Make sure you're paying for the subscription for Google Gemini, though. If you're going to do that, you really should be. If you're doing VS Code, even. It makes sense there. Especially if you're doing a bunch of different things and you have usage limits and whatever. So there's that. Um, if you're on a budget, though, look at Copilot. And the reason for that has to do with nothing to do with it's Microsoft based. Nope, not at all. It has to do with it actually supports 3 different AI models. So it supports ChatGPT models. There's multiple. It supports the basic Gemini model. This is the asterisk, and then the basic Claude model, which is basically not their highest end models. But the thing is, it's only $10 a month. So what can you expect for $10 a month, right? But they have mostly unlimited limits. There are some premium things like by agenting instead of autocomplete. That's for Copilot Pro. So if you're going to use it, honestly, I would just pay for the Copilot Pro Plus if you're going to do that, because that has truly unlimited capabilities. You're never going to hit the ceilings on that, realistically. But the reason I use Gemini is it's only $20 a month. I get 2 terabytes of storage, and there's an integration in all of Google ecosystem. So like half the cost too, and you have unlimited. Okay, not technically unlimited. I think it's like 1,500 tokens a day. You're not even gonna get remotely close to that. Or no, it's not 1,500 tokens. It's 1,500 prompts. That's right. I looked into this yesterday. Brain's doing fuzzy things. Yeah, I mean, somebody on Twitter yesterday or X, whatever you call it, they were looking at AcreetionOS. They asked, "What's the best hardware for it?" And I was like, honestly, you can kind of use whatever you want because that is true. Um, you really can use whatever you want. The only thing is, if you have specialized hardware, just come to our Discord and we'll help you. That's the biggest thing that's different about AcreetionOS than standard Arch. Is we don't mind helping our community if we're not going to push you to a forum. That's dumb. We have a centralized space, which is Discord. I know it's proprietary. I get that. I'm not a big fan of Discord either. But at the same time, it's kind of the place where everybody's at. And it's kind of just a good central place for people to meet. Because I've seen Rocky Linux use Mattermost. You know how often I check Mattermost? Basically never. Matrix is kind of a joke, to be honest. Element. There are a bunch of communities on there, but they're so small and like basically dead. Why would you use the platform for that unless you're bridging? And even then you're bridging, right? Just use Discord itself. Um, I don't know how else to put it. We're gonna do that. So that's finished. Do this. I gotta build it. Do that. We're gonna make. Um, nope. Check. Sure. I just ran it myself, but oh yeah. Um, but yeah. So I just used Discord there for a little while. I was looking at doing XMPP, but honestly, I'm not trying to be mean, but a lot of them are kind of crazy. I only talked to like 2 people on there now because of it. Yeah, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. It's just some of them are people who really need help. I wish I could get it for them, but I can't. Yeah, I mean, I've been about in about every place in the Linux space at this point. I feel like, unless we're talking enterprise, obviously. Um, yeah, I was in, I will say was for a reason. A second. I was in the Arch Linux community for 15 years, and I loved it, and I thought it was great. I don't think anybody on the team has necessarily changed, but I can say viewpoints on a lot of stuff seem to have. Um, I also don't support the idea of releasing a bunch of packages and not getting proper testing done. Yes, I know they do put things through test. I do understand that they technically do. I just don't think it's enough. I think there needs to be human interaction somewhere in between for testing, right? You need beta testing. I mean, I know that would significantly make the team bigger. I get that. The easiest way to approach that would be by making each individual project test their own stuff. That's the only way you can really accomplish that. And again, at that point, now you have to manage all of them and talking thousands of packages. Last time we looked, because we maintain a local mirror, we it was like over 17,000 packages. So there's no way a small team of developers can manage all that. So I understand why they do things the way they do. But that also does open up the it also does open up the resource, I guess. I don't know how to put this. Oh, for distributions like ours, being able to do that middle and in the middle opportunity for people, so we can make sure it's stable, so it works well. It just works, right? That's why we make the claim. Because it does when we use it. That's why we use it. We want to make sure people are having the ability. We've done testing enough where for a while there, we were actually having all of our server infrastructure ran on our own OS. Right? Like we trusted our own work, and we still do. We may run into problems here and there, but then issues are made or discussions are had or whatever needs to happen. Like there is an AcreetionOS GNOME at one point, but we abandoned it for a variety of reasons. One, they're removing X11 support for GNOME. I don't really want to do a maintain an entire desktop environment by myself. That sounds like death in a can. I don't even know if I could. I would be doing it constantly, all day, every day. I don't think that's fair to me, honestly. Because I would have to maintain an Ex Libra variant of it, is what I would have to do. I don't know if I'm up for that. Since we abandoned that, we've been working on the Cinnamon Edition, which is our only version right now. Works great. I love it. Um, and I'm using it right now. Great. Obviously, I have a few extra extensions and stuff put in, but it works great. Um, Let me think. Oh, full store. Let me go check here. Oh, I just woke up like 2 hours ago. So pardon me, please. I'm gonna have to change this. I am not okay with it pulling in .text file. That's not acceptable. I'm not even remotely close when I want to do. I'm gonna figure this out. I'm trying to think of the best way to. 'Cause I want it to store it, and it should, right? Because it's got to be able to pull it from somewhere, and it needs to be local because I'm not hosting that stuff for them. They could technically have a Git private GitHub repository for it, but most people aren't gonna make that. I mean, what we could do is make a folder in opt, go ahead and change the permissions to be non-writable. And then inside of that, we could have a file that's actually inside of a tarball and then password protect it. We could use like a generated hash or something instead of a normal password. I think that's probably how we're going to have to do this. Okay. And we'll go ahead and write up those instructions. Make a, make a directory opt. It is named. We don't want people knowing what it is. So we'll have to put it under something like this. No, put in there. I'm trying to think of the right way to lock this down from here, though, because I'm trying to avoid a password because a password is not secure enough anymore. Um, I guess we'll have to do a sudo password. Because like here's the way I'm approaching this, right? It has to be stored locally. That's not an option at this point. Um, it's just not. We don't have the server infrastructure of Microsoft, Like we don't. Um, I don't think us having to handle that type of responsibility is a good idea either. Then we are liable if something happens. Um, I think this is the right way to do it. And having it be randomly generated is going to make it where it's even more secure because they're going to have to figure out what we're using to generate it if they were to try to get it. And again, all they're accessing is an API key. All this does is talk to Google servers and say, "Oh, have Gemini talk to me." It's not like, yeah, it's not like they're going to get in with access to your account anyway. But this is just making sure people aren't talking through your Gemini application on your system. I know this is a very weird way of doing it, but also by putting it in two separate places and then giving the directory a different type of name, it's going to actually make it where it's more practical. It also means people don't know what it is unless they know what it is. And obviously, you know what it is because you watched the stream. I'm gonna need to document this somewhere. I can honestly just, yeah, make docs folder. I'm gonna do this by hand. I'll just do this thing. We're gonna go ahead and put a docs folder in here. We're gonna call this that. We're gonna make a file in here called um, codes. So if somebody wants to know what it is, because like this is gonna be published to the web, people just need to know what each thing means. But that means people are gonna have to go digging if they want to, which is again better practice in general. Um, and then again, they'll use the find command to be able to find all the directories named that. So we're gonna go ahead and keep this. We're gonna go ahead make um, we'll go ahead and guess under the directions because like we're gonna modify it anyway. So fixing this problem is gonna lead to another one, honestly. So let's do that. Let's see. Firefox live streaming. What's this? Um, um, cool, cool. So we did that. Um, yeah, I think by adding a level of encryption, we're protecting people's privacy. And honestly, that's probably to be truthful about this. Yeah, because if somebody wants it, they're gonna have to go down to a bunch of different. to figure out how to use this if they want to get in. So, and again, this is only for an API. So if this was like a system level password, I would be going to a much deeper level. Honestly, like we wouldn't even be on the machine if it was a system level. That has to do with the NP they can't get in to the other server. It'd be to protect the person. Fortunately, it's not how I want to do it. But what I would probably make if I had to do that is a tool on initial boot where they would log in to their GitHub. They would create their own directory within a repository and then give them the direct address, and you would push everything by SSH and retrieve it from GitHub if I had to do that. That's the way I would do that. Very weird way of doing it, but it would work well enough at least. It would also mean they would have to find where everything's going. So it would keep people safe because nobody knows to look other than the person who initiates the original login. We are in the year 2025. I would love to have everything on board. That would be grateful or great, I guess. But here's the reality: we can't do that anymore. We were there for a while. We talked about having a local AI model on the machine, and I pushed and pushed and pushed, and was like, no, we can't do that because we have low end machines, right? We're talking super low end, 2 cores, 1 core, that kind of thing. Those machines do not have any level of GPU whatsoever. They're running minimal specs. You really think they're going to run an AI model? These machines probably have 2 or 4 gigabytes of RAM. That's not practical. If we have it offsite like this, it means Google can front and handle that for us. We don't have to worry about that. It's all about delegating. If Google one day says, "Oh, this is bad," you know what? We just move on to Claude. If Claude says it's bad, we move on to ChatGPT, so on and so forth. Well, eventually we'll go to Fee from Microsoft, whatever, if we have to. I don't like the big corporations. I mean, they're not my favorite thing in the world, but at the same time, like they have the resources we don't, so we kind of have to use them. Just the truth of this, and everybody has to use them. So, I'm just gonna copy. I mean, first I want to look at it. Yeah, I have multiple AIs open. This is the code assistant. This is the actual chat interface. This is what I was talking about earlier. So on the anti-gravity one, it's basically one of these sort of, but with a few different ones. AI assistants. But the problem is you can't load in your own there. You can in here. You can do it in VS Code. How do you think I got all these? I run some via Obama. I run some of them just using their API. It just depends on what we're doing. If it's something super basic, you can just use the Llama instance, but again, that's only if it's super basic. I'll show you the application now. So I'm going to change this API key so it doesn't matter. But so you put in your API key, right? You hit save API key. It's going to make you put in a passphrase for yourself. I put in my password, right? And now this is what I've been working on here specifically. Let's see if it's working now. So now we got my password. Yeah, no, it is not pulling in the information right. Now we'll go ahead and copy this in. haven't fixed that. But yeah, I mean, again, this is development in progress. We'll get there. It's obviously pulling in the website instead for whatever reason. It put in a search query is what happened. And it just didn't exist. I know this from web development. Like if you look here, this is the style uh, section. Then you have that it's looking at google.com. Why did it do this? Anyways, we'll close this. Let it do its thing. Um, where is that? What is this? Wow. Hello? That's fine. Here we go. Save API key. Okay, I'm gonna have to change this behavior. I'm not setting it up every anytime I wanna go into it. Yeah. Again, this is still pretty basic. I'm gonna do that. We're gonna go and close the application. One thing at a time, right? I should probably make issues, to be honest. Let me do that. So I can keep myself plus, and when this might go down. Um, there's that. Then we'll do labels. Gemini, add in there. Face query. I don't know. This is a label. We'll just give it Gemini. We're not going to bother with milestones. This is not a big enough project for that. So I always forget this is a tilde, not a tilde, whatever it's called. I think what it's called. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna place this with a variable called API key, and then I'm not gonna tell them how my API key is on the issue. I'm sorry, this is not happening. That sounds like a bad idea. It says bad what? What do you mean bad credentials? You turd. Oh. Um, um, it's because this account doesn't exist anymore. I will push. Well, it's running on old credentials. Hit authorize. There's nothing private in my email. I'm not worried about you all seeing that, to be honest. This is only valid while talking, so that took way too many tries, way too much effort. That's pretty funny. Let's see. I'm gonna hit keep. I'll go ahead and publish the issue. Copy issue. Come on. How do I do that? Yes. What do you mean I can't push the issue? Okay. Go. Why am I doing it? Come on. Whatever. We'll do this later. Um, okay, we're gonna go ahead and build this. Well, on that. Put in our passphrase. Okay. Save. This. Hello. Do that. And now it's still doing it. Let me try export. I don't know. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream for now. I don't feel like streaming anymore. I will talk to you later. Bye bye.